Well, hello everyone. This is Trotter from the Tolkien Collector's Guide. I'm joined today by Shawn and Alan from the Prancing Pony Podcast to talk about a new book that they've brought out, and in particular, why you might be interested in buying this as a collector.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you, Trotter. So I'm Shawn Marchese, the Lord of the Mark from the Prancing Pony Podcast.
Mm-hmm. I'm Alan Sisto, the Man of the West from the Prancing Pony Podcast and today's Tolkien Times.
Yeah. And we've been here at Oxenmoot this year, not only doing some live podcast recording, which is something that we've done many times before, but also promoting our new book, Why We Love Middle-earth.
And signing over 100 copies of it.
Signing over 100 copies of it, which we sold yesterday and had a pretty exciting turnout. Why We Love Middle-earth is a book that we've been working on for about 2 years now. It's just now about to come out. It's actually coming out September 12th in the United States.
October. A few folks have actually gotten their pre-orders in.
A few folks have gotten pre-orders in.
That's sort of a date on the bookshelf thing. So if you go to your local Barnes & Noble and pick it up, it won't be there until September 12th. But for some of you, your pre-orders are already coming in.
Yeah. October 12th is the release date in the UK and Australia and I think other parts of Europe. But check your local Amazons you can find or other
independent booksellers
shops, wherever your preferred retailer is, and you'll find information about it. About the book, it's
we put it into 3 sections, right? So we've got a section on the books themselves, and the idea is to help people who maybe have just read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, wanting to understand, what do I read next? Why do I want to read this that's next? What's the purpose behind reading it in this order, and what is the idea of a whole legendarium mean anyway? So that whole section is all about each of the books and explains in really, I think, entertaining detail why you should read it. Why you should that particular book. You want to understand why you should read Unfinished Tales? Read our chapter on Unfinished Tales, and you'll understand why that's a really good book to read, but also why it's a really good book to read only after you've read these, but not before you read this. And it's really, I think, an insightful and entertaining guide. It's designed, yes, to appeal to people who have been in the Tolkien fandom for a very long time, but it's also really designed to be welcoming and warm to newcomers. And I think that's really going to be the important bit.
Yeah, I think that was really a big part of our goal. Being podcasters for 7 years, we talked to a lot of people who are new to Tolkien's works, and we've learned a lot about sort of questions that people often have when they're approaching Tolkien's works and Tolkien fandom for the first time. And we really wanted to kind of give a guidebook and sort of a roadmap, really, to understanding the fandom. So in addition to the section on the books, we've got a section on adaptations. Obviously, there's a lot we could have said there that we didn't get to, but we've got
material for the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got chapters on each of the major film adaptations and both the live action and the animated adaptations.
Correct.
And then we've got a really exciting section all about different fandom niches. So we've got a section on languages. We've got a section on moots and fan organizations, and
including the Tolkien Society and Oxenmoot.
And we've got a chapter on collecting,
which
several of our friends from the Tolkien Collector's Guide community helped us compile. Thank you all for contributing some interviews to that. Yeah. And we've just sort of tried to give information to newcomers about why people collect, how to get into collecting, the different types of Tolkien collections, the fact that it's not all one thing. It's not all about speculation and appreciation. Sometimes it's just about personal sentimental value.
That's right.
And so that's a chapter that we're really proud of.
It's been a lot of fun to write.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for a sort of sequel to this, or is this it?
You used the other day? Plans not promises.
Yeah. So we've talked to the publisher. The publishers are open to the idea of us doing 2, possibly 3 books.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need to see how the first one does.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of material that did not make the first book because it got a little too long.
They wanted maybe 70,000?
Maybe 70,000 words. We gave them 105 or something like that.
Yeah,
so finally, we just got to a point where they said, no more, please, no more.
Did you have to cut that much?
We had to cut some.
We did have to cut some.
So you've got some material already you've got there to put in the sequel.
We have half a chapter on video games under the adaptation section that's already been written and the rest outlined. I've got a full outline ready to go for the BBC adaptation the radio play.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you definitely, that's my favourite adaptation of the
Yeah,
book.
it is.
And that definitely
It is
needs to
so
come into a sequel if you do.
It is the
Yeah.
gold standard of adaptation.
needs to
That
come
is
in.
the first thing we're going to work on for the sequels, to finish that stuff, and also, again, if we get to the sequel, there's so much non-legendarium stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah.
We could dip more into Tales from the Perilous Realm and all those stories, and even things like Mr. Bliss, the Father Christmas letters.
Father Christmas letters for sure.
Yeah, as well as all the things from Tom Shippey to Verlin Flieger to John Garth that
Exactly, the books about Tolkien.
we mentioned briefly, just to sort of introduce people, but didn't really get a chance to dive into.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that will be another really interesting book. So fingers crossed,
Yes,
really
yes.
good sales, and you actually do get to do
Why
part
we
2.
still love Middle Earth?
Why we still love Middle
Oh
Earth?
yeah, you have to come up with a new
Stop
name.
living Middle Earth.
Why will-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that was a fantastic. So thank you for agreeing to do this.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
Good
Thanks,
luck
Trotter.
with the book sales.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would definitely be very interested in seeing a sequel. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed that actually happens.
Indeed.
Cross.
So thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.